What exactly is the interest of lawmakers and civil society organizations? I mean, all of a sudden you have at least 2 bills coming up on regulating civil society organizations. Why is that?
There are up to 3, 4, 5 bills in some other areas because you have 360, members of the House of Representatives and 109 senators who man their own individual constituencies and operate individually at the level of bill proposals. You come up with a bill, you don't need to consult your colleagues. You don't know what the other person is doing before you come up with your own bill.
Yeah, but considering just how popular, I mean, this particular bill, but by that I mean how the frequency with which it seems to be coming up in the National Assembly, what do you think that lawmakers have for civil society organizations?
Well, I think it's not peculiar to CSO issues. That's the point I was trying to make. It happens in other areas. We are not talking about those ones now because the kind of media hype that this has generated is not happening elsewhere. If not, what I said earlier on is that there are other areas where you have 3, 4, 5 in the same area. We harmonize in some cases. And in this case, one was stepped down completely, which is even, better than harmonizing, as well. So it's not peculiar to CSO-related issues. And I don't think that lawmakers are crazy about regulating CSOs. Lawmakers are willing to make laws, and it is the job that they have been recruited by their people to do. The process is what we should concentrate on, to make sure that whatever law is made is the one that satisfies the interests of the people and meets the very expectation of Nigerian people.
I'm sure that you must have seen the video making rounds by Professor Chidi Nkalu, who was talking about how, this will also have an impact on the activities of religious bodies, I mean, churches and mosques and NGOs. And, it would seem that this bill was targeting big NGOs. That's what it looks like, the big NGOs. But then it also has a way of impacting inadvertently the small ones as well, the ones that are just, really small and local. How do you manage that, first of all? And then also tell us about this, conflict with religion, perhaps.
Well, I've seen the video. I am not in a position to completely agree with, what Prof has said in that place. I have a lot of respect for him, But then I think there's a lot of sentiment in that, I would like anybody to take this document up and point at specific provisions that promotes anti-Christianity or Islam. I don't think there's any specific such provision. But again, in every law, where there are a little bit of ambiguities, mischievous people can come up to take advantage of such provisions to do whatever they want to do to organizations. And that is the reason why, to a very large extent, we believe that if there's any aspect that could be capitalized on by mischief makers, we have the opportunity to talk about it. That is why engagement is proper. It's good that we engage. Let me tell you, on the 25th of July, we had an interactive session on this bill before public hearing, because of the same confidence issue, because some people don't trust that, they don't believe that when you go straight to public hearing, you can, give your best and then you have the opportunity to make proper input. We made after 2 meetings with CSOs, we had an interactive session in partnership with some NGOs and CSO too.
Now let me ask that part again about religion. Do you think that it was or it could be an inadvertent outcome if this bill, inadvertent consequence of this bill, as it were? I mean, you did not think of the fact that this could actually have an effect on religious houses, but if one were to take a broad interpretation of this bill, they could be affected as well.
I agree with you that if mischief makers want to take advantage of that, they can. Yes, they can.
Aren't religious houses non-governmental organizations?
But let me tell you,
isn't that what they are?
It can't be the intention of National Assembly to promote such tendencies. For instance, the Speaker of the House is a Christian, a devout Christian. The originator of this bill is a Muslim. I don't know who among them will want to see the outcome of a bill that they have worked on to be used against their faith or religion. I'm a Christian, and I can't support such thing.
Yes, but it could have implication.
Inadvertently.
For how churches and mosques are run.
That is why we have to engage. That is why we started the engagement. And that is why we say, even before public hearing, let's talk about this. Let's dissect this document. Let us look at every clause and see how it's likely to impact on the public or NGOs, be they big or small. So that at the end of the day, we recommend what we think, is proper. Not necessarily exactly as it is. That is the essence of the engagement, and that is the essence of public hearing. I tell you, on the 25th of April, why, we gathered for this activity, I think we gave the opportunity to everybody. And I made it very clear to them, in my opening remarks, that I have not taken a position on this as the chairman of the committee. It is not our duty to take a position on it. Our duty is to give the opportunity for people to make input, and that nobody is gagging anybody. You make your free input, we take them back, and then during the public hearing, it will inform, how we are going to structure the, the hearing, and then get people involved. And at the end of the day, the possibilities are three. That one, the bill dies, or it is amended through the input of the contributors, or at the end of the day, it's case through. So it's not as if there is any position that is already taken by anybody, But I think, there were some developments on that day that didn't quite go well with some people, including Prof. And I regretted what happened, even though it was not intended. When he came there, he was to register before going in. And then we got to realize later that in the process of registration, Prof did not agree to indicate his state of origin. And the people said, no, you cannot go in without, doing that, which was rude, actually, for which reason we actually apologized, though in his absence. He stormed out of the place. And that was when this whole thing started, the attacks on social media and all that. I have a lot of respect for Prof, but I think that there's a better way to engage on this than to whip up sentiments and, misinform Nigerians. Let's talk about these documents. Look at this document very critically. You see that most of the things that they are putting in the air, they're not true. They're not true. But I am not endorsing every, provision in the bill itself. There are things that we need to look at very critically.
My colleague Nyota has questions for you.
Okay.
Honorable, there are people, you've said this is a time to discuss. Now, there are those who are concerned that there are a lot of other things that should take their attention, that should hold their attention of the lawmakers, and not going to come up with a bill like this, which you say is good and will help to regulate things. There are multiple arguments which we'll look into, but why this bill and why now?
Well, I have not said that everything about the bill, is okay, and so, it should not be, no, we shouldn't touch anything. But what I think is that there is no best time for bills to be produced in the House. You cannot stop individual lawmakers from initiating bills. We don't have that structure. We don't have the means to stop people from presenting bills to the House. And when bills are presented to the House, they don't automatically translate to law. So if anybody feels that there is anything wrong in a proposal, I don't get that. If you think there's anything wrong in a proposal, I think what you do is to use the opportunity of public hearing and other platform for discussion to make your contribution, so that the bill is either amended, or if it is the type that should not pass through the process of third reading, you make every input you can at that point to ensure that it doesn't pass through third reading. A lot of bills in the past have stopped at the level of second reading without going through third reading. I